Now we've got $50 to make the best CS2 investment we can. Now starting off on an area that's been absolutely exploding right now is going to be the high tier items. Now a lot of people realize that high tier items are definitely the area of interest right now, whether it's due to Chinese manipulation or overall interest in the game, but I don't think they realized how drastically these items are up. Obviously some of the gloves are up significantly and those were already expensive to begin with, but focus in on these high tier knives. We're seeing all across the board the prices of these knives exploding for desirable finishes. We're talking 50 to 100% in the past month or 2 months. That's crazy, and it's really hard to track because these items are obviously not on Steam, which means they're not on CSGO stocks, which means it's really hard to find a centralized price for these. But if we want to look at Price Empire, we can see all across the board these prices have been going absolutely insane. Now a lot of people have really been speculating, is this a bubble and is this going to crash? And the item really comes down to it specifically. Obviously you've got items like these gloves which are highly manipulated, those are probably going to go down, but when we're talking about these desirable knives, as long as the demand keeps up and they were a little bit underpriced to begin with, I think it's very possible that we will see a pullback, but not as drastically as many people are really expecting for this area. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with their exclusive new reward system, with a reward of up to $50 today when you're using code MASTER. They have mastered the skins game, offering one of the largest selections of skins if you're looking to trade out your old ones, one of the best rates in the market if you're trying to sell off instantly, and it's completely safe. And they've got their own buying page, which is offering a massive 40% discount on every single skin they have. So what are you waiting for? Claim your exclusive up to $50 rewards by using code MASTER on SkinSwap. Now talking about our case market, we've got a lot to break down. First up, talking about the more expensive rare cases at the beginning here, because they've actually been on a very significant increasing trajectory for a specific amount of them. Obviously we talked about our glove case, which has shown very significant profit over the past month for a rare older case. We've also got something like the Chroma 3, which is a very old case as well. Even though it's number 3, it's still quite old. It's starting to see a little bit of that parabolic growth at the end, which is extremely cool, along with some other cases like your revolvers, your spectrums are starting to potentially get into it a little bit as well. Now talking about our case market as a whole, we talked about it in a previous video, but right now we're very concentrated on the purchasable and active duty cases, making up on average about 75% of the unboxings. Now it's way higher. We're pushing 85% on a weekly basis, which is absolutely insane. Extremely worrisome if this was a trend that didn't really happen because of the fever case. Obviously the fever case is the main reason we're seeing this right now. Everyone is unboxing the fever case and toning down on everything else. Our rare cases have kind of been affected by this as we see a little bit of a slow push down. No one's really been interested in unboxing these cases right now, which makes a perfect opportunity if you're trying to get into these cases. It could be a perfect time because people are not really interested in these. They don't have the hype right now, and the price point definitely shows that. Down 15-20% over the past month is a very solid option when we're talking about potential investments. People always get a little bit nervous about these cheaper rare cases, saying if they're going to crash or go down to 3 cents. It's not actually possible unless the game goes ahead and goes kaput, because if we want to look at the player numbers, we're still on an increasing trajectory, but more importantly, these cases are going down in supply. They're going down in supply heavily and faster pretty much than any other case because they're the most unboxed rare cases. Therefore, they're in a very strong position, especially long term. Now, one area that I find extremely interesting is talking about these older collections. Now, we've talked a lot about Riptide collections, but Broken Fang was one of the most over-invested into operations that we ever had. A lot of these collections actually gone up in price and then they lost almost all of that value. If we want to look at them today, they're actually sitting in a very strong price point. Now, I'll be completely honest, I actually don't think it's a perfect investment for a couple different reasons. First up, a lot of these collections have gone up in price, but they haven't gone up in interest that much. And because we're so far past Broken Fang, I don't think a lot of them really have that strong of a chance to succeed. Instead, my personal investments, not for this series, I've looked a lot at these Shattered Web collections. They're a little bit more expensive, a little bit more developed, and therefore they've left in a position where they have gone on a pretty strong increasing trajectory. It's a little bit outside the price point of this video, which is why we're going to translate this over into the Armory in a quick second. Now, breaking down everything for the 3 collections from the Armory here, not including the train. If we want to talk about the biggest problem, it's obviously the fact is that there is no gray skins. This makes everything significantly more common when we're talking about these higher tiers, and obviously that has a lot more skins flooding into the game. This makes our price point significantly lower, and this actually drastically impacts the health of a collection. Because these collection skins are significantly more common, that means the prices of your blues and purples are going to be significantly lower, which is going to eliminate the trade-up opportunity inside of this area. Trade-ups are the #1 way that a collection can increase in price without really doing anything, because some of these skins are getting deleted. When we have such low values right here, trade-ups are not really worth it on most cases, and therefore trade-ups are not really being done, and these skins are kind of staying stagnant, which is kind of what we're seeing here with how cheap they are. Now, giving you your 20-second Armory wrap-up as a whole, Missing Link and Small Arms Charms have really been stable around that 100 to 90% unboxing ROI. People really aren't too interested. The big thing is going to be the Elemental and Character Craft. I'll be completely honest, if these stickers get removed, I'm 1000% investing into them. The unboxing numbers have been absolutely insane, and the fact that they're still sitting over 100% 50% ROI shows people really want these stickers. I think it's a huge opportunity, but obviously they got to get removed first. Now, since Shanghai has actually been removed, there is the question of a possible investment into it, and one of these investments is actually up 50% already. That's the Challenger sticker capsule coming in at almost 40 cents. Now, with that being said, this is a very specific opportunity that has been presented because this capsule was kind of manipulated. Someone bought a bunch of them, pushing up the price. Actually, Shanghai is not in a very strong position at all. Obviously, it's at a much lower supply on the market available for purchase, but the overall interest in Shanghai is just not enough to make an actual strong investment, especially in my personal opinion for this year. Now, one last thing to hit on is the agent market. A lot of people right now really haven't been too interested in agents, other than the fact that maybe they think it might be coming to the Armory. Right now, we're seeing prices slip a little bit. I would say if you want to get into an agent, it's definitely an opportunity, but do remember it is very possible that we're going to get new agents. We haven't gotten them in almost 4 years at this point, so it's a very strong possibility Valve's going to be coming out with some new ones for CS2. You could see some pretty instant price drops, which could be a perfect time to invest or pick up some other ones whenever that happens. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, you should know exactly what my first investment is going to be. That's into some filler skins. Right now, filler skins are a huge opportunity, especially we're going to be focusing in on the light blue filler skins from the Train collection. They are the only place you can use a light blue filler skin, and therefore the prices have obviously shot up already, so we're buying in at an inflated price. But I think long term, this is going to be a very solid solution. These are going to be always in demand as long as they don't get up to like $1, and in which case we're going to be able to sell them for double our money. I think it's a huge opportunity. Filler skins are something I love to get into, and it's a perfect time. Now, my second investment is actually going to be into the fracture case. Now, I'm very strongly against making active duty investments most of the time, but there's a little bit of a caveat. We're putting in a buy order at 25 cents, which is one of the lowest price points it's seen in the past year, and it's not at that price point right now, with it being over 50% down in the past 2 months, and active duty cases starting to potentially see a little bit more interest in the unboxing numbers. I think it's a possible opportunity that if it does get removed, we could have a quick spike, in which case we would instantly sell it off, because as we know, these spikes come down very quick, and usually there's not a ton of profit afterwards. Now, the third investment I'm going to be making is into one of the Armory collections. I just don't have enough diversification inside of that area right now for me to be comfortable. Therefore, we're going to be picking up some field-tested blue skins from the Overpass collection. Now, why Overpass? I like it with the AK. It's a little bit distinguishable, but more importantly, it's a cheap price point. It's going to be cheaper than the competition for some of these field-tested blues, and especially with a buy order, we're almost at 50 cents, which is a very low price point. With the ROI being so bad on this right now, I think people are potentially going to stop opening it. They might creep up in price a little bit, and overall, this is definitely a long-term investment. And lastly, with how much I talk about rare cases, you know I had to take one. We're going to be going with the Prisma 2. It's a little bit stronger than the Prisma 1 in every aspect that we look at, and considering right now they're the same price, which usually they're not, I think it's a perfect opportunity. Honestly, all rare cases, especially the cheaper rare cases, are probably going to be moving in tandem, so it's not too big of a deal which one you choose. Obviously, we're using a buy order, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.